And you're all welcome. We do that once a month, typically the third Wednesday of every month. If you're interested in receiving a free booklet about Shi Ban Gong Bei, please feel free to email me. And you might want to take a picture of the screen, so you can email me with your mailing address. And I'll mail you a book as a gift. So take a picture of the screen, so you have my email address. Email me, and I'll be happy to mail you as a gift Shi Ban Gong Bei booklet. In terms of my introduction, this is Mandarin. Basically, I live in Nashville, Tennessee. I practice ophthalmology and published many books and also paper in Nature, and also performed over 55,000 laser vision corrections. In terms of English, similarly, there's a film called Sight. It's based on my autobiography, From Darkness to Sight. I've invented the amniotic contact lens, and also our foundation has been helping blind orphan children from around the world. Briefly about myself, I grew up in China during Cultural Revolution. And at age 14, I was not allowed to go to school, as I was going to be sent away to labor camp, just like 20 million others. In order to avoid that, I learned the Chinese violin, erhu, and learned to dance to avoid deportation. Then 1976, Cultural Revolution ended. I had the opportunity to go to college, and I worked really hard. My parents helped me. I got into University of Science and Technology in 1978, and in 1982 came to America, got a PhD in laser physics at the University of Maryland, finished at MIT, and then got into second doctorate degree, this time in medicine, from Harvard MIT. 1991, I graduated, and I invited my parents over to thank them. So the film Sight has been dedicated to my parents. The reason I got 2 doctorate degrees, one in medicine, one in laser physics, is because medicine is so technologically driven. So I want to be a unique eye surgeon who knows not only medicine, but also technology. I have performed over 55,000 laser vision corrections, including on over 4,000 doctors. This is my Harvard and MIT joint MD degree diploma. I even met then President Ronald Reagan. One aspect of work that I talk about in the film is to help blind orphan children. I was trying to help a 5-year-old blind Indian orphan, Kajal, to recover her eyesight. This is her eye, all scarred up. And my research shows that perhaps that unborn child doesn't scar. We can do research on unborn child, but how can we do research on unborn child without hurting the baby? They say there's no common ground between faith and science. Is that really true? Fortunately, I did not give up. I established a common ground network to study and study from Christ. I'm a Christian, and found out how Christ found common ground. Coming back through much prayer and working with other doctors, we realized that perhaps the reason unborn child can heal without scar is because the amniotic membrane, the placenta. So I got lots of donation placenta from mothers after giving birth to children. They don't need a placenta anymore. And I brought the placenta back in the laboratory, started doing research. And through much research, I eventually developed the amniotic placenta contact lens. When I put a placenta contact lens on injured eyes, indeed, eyes start healing as if it were not born yet. Start healing without scar in many of the eyes. Then I decided to donate my patent to the world. I put the patent online and traveled around 50-some countries and taught over 10,000 eye doctors how to use this technology. Today, amniotic membrane contact lens, as shown in the film Sight, is used by eye doctors from nearly every nation throughout the world today. Millions of patients have eyesight helped or restored. It's a $5 billion a year industry. Even though I did not make any money myself because I donated my patent, but I'm happy that my technology has helped people. So one of the things we got a lot as we get older is dry eyes. This patient got the dry eye ulcer for many years, came to us, and we put the amnion contact lens, she could see. And this amnion membrane contact lens, which is the story in the film Sight, shows that science and faith have common ground. And also, amnion membrane contact lens now is emerging as one of the most powerful new treatment for dry eyes, which affects lots of people as we get older. I live in Nashville, Tennessee, Music City, USA. That's our eye clinic, and we're some of the best technologies. I published a paper in the journal Nature, and these are textbooks that are published in ophthalmology, and 7 of these textbooks have been translated in Mandarin Chinese. I've served U.S. Ophthalmic Device Panel, FDA, the first Chinese American to do so, and also we're training surgeons worldwide. We perform the world's first laser artificial cornea implantation. Technology is available now to treat all 5 human prescription conditions: nearsightedness, farsightedness, astigmatism, presbyopia, and cataract. Through these 5 technologies, we're not going to spend any time to talk about it, so you may want to take a picture of the screen. So if you do have any question about the eye, you can ask me later. So take a picture, use your iPhone of the screen. The right upper corner is every Tuesday, we have Vision Zoom, every Tuesday, 6:45 Central Time. Lower left corner is my email address. If you have any questions, you can email me in English, so I can help you. My team are all Americans. They do not know Mandarin. So you have to email me in English. These 4 top technologies on the screen can treat all 5 human conditions: nearsightedness, farsightedness, astigmatism, presbyopia, and cataract, all 5, using these 4 surgeries. SMILE, left upper corner, is making LASIK surgery obsolete. So rather than LASIK, we should perform SMILE, small incision LASIK now. Lower left corner, implantable contact lens. If you wear contact lenses, you don't want to have to take it out at night. I've got technology to put the contact lens inside your eyes, so you never need to remove it. In the middle, over 45, we got the technology for every young lens. In one surgery, for every young lens, we can treat all 5 human eye prescription conditions: nearsightedness, farsightedness, astigmatism, presbyopia, the reading glasses need, and the cataract. So one surgery fixes all 5 conditions. You will never need glasses to drive, you never need glasses to read, and you will never develop cataract. That's for every young lens. Finally, on the right, cataract surgery can be performed with laser now, much better than blade. Despite the fact that these top 4 technologies are the best that humankind has to offer in 2025, in the United States, only 5% of surgeons are performing it. 95% are not using these top 4 technologies yet. The technology is so fast developing, most of the doctors are still learning. But instead of 5% using these top 4 technologies, at the Wang Vision Institute in Nashville, Tennessee, we use these top 4 technologies 100% of the time. We're leading the nation in the percentage of high-tech application in laser surgery in Nashville, Tennessee. So as I mentioned, the SMILE surgery, the presbyopia, forever young lens surgery, and also laser cataract surgery. So this is the first surgery in China, all laser LASIK I performed. And our patients now from all over the United States and from around the world. The foundation, the film Sight you've seen is helping blind orphan children, cajole. The dancing I learned during Cultural Revolution to escape labor camp has become a hobby now to help the blind orphan children, the eyeball. And also the Chinese violin I learned during Cultural Revolution to escape labor camp has become a hobby as well to connect East and West. I established Tennessee Immigrant Minority Business Group. Actually, Nelson today on the Zoom, he's on the board of our Tennessee Immigrant Minority Business Group. And I give talks at the churches frequently about faith and science have common ground. So basically, this part of my talk is just briefly tell you a little bit about myself. And my life experience has been written in a book called From Darkness to Sight, which has been made into movie Sight. So to finish my story, here's a 2-minute trailer of the movie Sight. So please turn up the volume of your cell phone, your computer. So here's the 2-minute trailer of the movie sight.
I'm going to help you see again.
Dr. Chen, can you hear it?
Yes, I can.
Okay, here we go.
I'm going to help you see again.
You said it was impossible.
Ah, there he is, the good doctor.
You're going to be on the cover of the Tennessee Herald tomorrow morning. You may get a date out of this.
Not that picture.
Very funny.
Our pro bono office got a call from India. A little girl, 6 years old.
Apparently, street beggars make more money if they're legitimately blind. So the stepmother poured sulfuric acid in each of her eyes.
I'm going to help you see again, Kajan.
Is it true that multiple doctors declared your patient irreversibly blind?
Yes, I developed this new breakthrough technology. Here we go. Do you see the light?
No. I can't see anything.
I have this patient from India. She reminds me of some things in the past that I can't get over.
The present is made possible by the past.
A long time ago back in China, there was an uprising in my hometown. Many bad things happened.
So we came to America.
Yes.
It's hard getting into medical school, but you coming from China, don't waste your time.
You cannot change the past, Ming. I feel like I'm stuck.
Hello, doctor. This is Maria.
We want to give her a chance to see again.
I don't even know if I can perform surgery anymore. I left you.
Stop it.
You need to just let go. I just don't want Maria to end up like a job.
We can only do our best. I'm with you, Ming. We can do this.
I refuse to believe there is no purpose.
I will be praying for you.
Kajal is teaching me that there's more to life than what you see. We have to keep going.
I thought you said it was impossible.
Can you see yourself, Maria?
I'm so pretty.
Okay, so we're going to proceed and talk about Shi Ban Gong Bei. Again, if you're interested in the book, please let me know. I'll be happy to mail the Shi Ban Gong Bei book to you as a gift. People often ask, in learning the Shi Ban Gong Bei prose, how much improvement in my efficiency? Up to 1,000%. This may be surprising to you. That's because Jonathan Haidt in his New York Times bestseller said we're 90% emotional, inefficient. But if we are emotional inefficient, then we cannot take care of it if it's random. Then Really wrote another New York Times bestseller called Predictably Irrational, meaning we are actually predictable. So since we're predictable, irrational, inefficient, standing on the shoulder of these two giants, I published in my book called Shi Ban Gong Bei Pro. Because it's systematic error, we can apply systematic solution, meaning basically identify what we do emotionally, irrationally, inefficiently, and apply logic. Since 90% of ourselves is inefficient, if we convert that 90% to efficiency, logical, then you can improve the efficiency 10 times or 1,000%. Shi Ban Gong Bei simply identifies 77 human nature-driven irrational behaviors and see if we can apply logic to overcome them. Okay, so many of you have heard many of those prose early. So today what we're going to do is we're going to actually very quickly read over some of the early prose without explaining, and I'm going to start in the later prose to explain. So this is going to be very quick. Look at the screen. If you look at English or Chinese, either way, we're going to zip through it very quickly. Okay, so here we go. Pro 1. In partnership, the person is more important than the project. In partnership, who your partner is more important than what we will be doing together. Examine the character of a potential partner before entering into a business relationship with him or her. With the right partner, you may be able to do the right thing, but with the wrong partner, you may never be able to do the right thing. Pro 2, in solving a problem, it's the opposite. The matter is more important than the person. When addressing a problem, you should not focus on the personal attributes of the individual who made the mistake. If you do, you will place the focus on the person himself or herself, which may then incite his or her ego and create an emotional barrier that could cause him or her to never be able to see the issue itself. Therefore, in solving a problem, you should focus on the issue instead of the person. The goal is to solve the problem, improve the system. It's not to blame on any particular person. 3, life is a two-way street. If you need someone to assist you with your project, you first need to do everything possible you can to help that person with his or her project first. Then he or she may be more inclined to help you with your project. A person who always wants to just take but never give will never be successful. 4, make it easy for others to help you. If you need help with your project, you need to first accomplish as much as you can yourself. Don't be lazy. If the person from whom you need help sees that you truly care about your own project, that you have already done as much as you can first before you ask for help, then he or she will be more willing to come to help you. Furthermore, the more you have done yourself prior to asking for help, the less he or she will have to do. Therefore, more likely he or she will do to help you. 5, why I'm here today. Whatever you're doing, always be willing to step back for a moment and look at the whole situation and ask yourself this question. Ultimately, what is the real reason or purpose of me being here today? 6, identify the number one task. When faced with many tasks, rank them in order of importance. You can then devote most of your attention to the number one task. The ability to rank lies at the core of human experience. 7, apply logic to everything you do. Apply logic to everything you do, whatever is big or small, and always be willing to ask yourself this question. Does it actually make a logical difference, this way of doing things? Or can I more logically solve this problem? 8, check things orthogonally. When you check something for accuracy, try not to use the same method that you used to obtain your initial result to begin with. Because if there's an error in that method, you may very likely to make the same mistake again. You're much more likely to catch an error if you use a completely different and unrelated or orthogonal in logic method the second time. 9, focus on content before form. Content is more important than form, and substance is more important than formality. 10, focus only on what you do and things you can control. Don't worry about what others do. Focus only what you yourself can do. Do not waste any time on things that are not under your control. Focus only on things you can do and change. 11, learn from others' mistakes. Learn from others' mistakes, so hopefully you won't have to make the same mistake yourself. 12, stay focused on the point. Don't be distracted by the examples that people use in demonstrating a point. Always keep your focus on the issue itself. Don't be distracted by examples. 13, don't try to change someone else. Adapt and change yourself. You cannot change another person anyway, but you can change yourself. The ideal work partner should be someone who at the onset already possesses many attributes that will enable you two to work together. If adjustments are needed after you begin working together, adapt and change yourself. 14, success is measured by effort, not by result. Success is not defined by how much we have accomplished, but rather by whether or not we have made our best effort. If you have done your best in everything you've done, then you are successful. 15. People will do what others have done in a similar situation. If you want someone to do something, first try to identify and then convey to him or her what others in a similar situation have done previously. Since people generally feel more comfortable doing something which has been done before by others who have been in their shoes. 16. Can I do this a little bit better? Whatever you're part of, whether it's a process or a product, always be willing to ask yourself this question. Can I do this a little bit better? 17. Help others to recall what the issue is. When you follow up with someone on an issue, remember that although you are fully aware of it, since it is your issue, he or she may not be. So first try to help that person recall what it's all about. So he or she wouldn't have to spend extra time, him or herself, figuring out what that is. If the individual has to do that, he or she may very well end up not doing the things you want him or her to do because it just seems too much trouble. And remember, it is not even his or her project to begin with. 18. Always be prepared with a backup plan. Whatever you do, go into it fully prepared, with at least a plan B and sometimes even plan C. When something unexpected happens and you are not already prepared with an alternative plan, then going back to the drawing board is a total waste of time. 19. Improve the system itself. When solving a problem, don't be satisfied with only solving the problem itself. Instead, try to examine the system from which the problem arose in the first place and find a way to improve the underlying system itself. 20. Identify the real intention of a person. The real intention of a drunkard is not necessarily in the wine. Someone may appear to want something, but he or she may really want something else. 21. Listen and then speak. Listen first. Let people finish what they are saying, and then speak. If you wait, you will avoid speaking prematurely. 22. Among life's uncertainties, and then identify the few things that are indeed certain. When faced with many uncertainties, identify among them the few things that are indeed certain. Then hang your hat on those certainties. 23. At least try. If you don't even try, you have zero chance to succeed. But if you try, even when you only have 1% chance of success, it is still much better than zero. 24. 3 criteria to determine if you do need to solve a problem. First, does the problem actually exist? Second, if the problem does exist, is it actually a big problem that I really have to solve right now? Number 3, even if problem does exist, even if it's a big problem that probably worth my time to solve it, do I really need to solve that problem right now? By applying these 3 criteria, you end up finding 99% of the problems in your life do not need to be solved. 25. On what does human happiness depend? It's not how much you have. It's not how much you want that determines the happiness in your life. Human happiness actually depends on the distance between how much you have and how much you want. The smaller that distance is, the happier you will be. 26. Restate the question, please. Before you hurry to answer the question, sometimes it is helpful to ask, could you please restate the question again? Clarifying what has been actually asked of you is often half of the battle. 27, goal of life. The goal of life is not about how much we have accomplished, but rather is if we're happy throughout that journey. Life is not about feeling that we have arrived at wherever. Life is about enjoying the process of trying to get there. 28. You can actually change the reality around you. The traditional symptom that you can change your surroundings and the realities around you is actually wrong. In fact, you can. For example, if you're always positive, always choosing to try to do something rather than not trying it at all, always deciding to look at the glass as half full rather than half empty, then eventually you will find that people around you all have somehow magically changed. Now they are all happy as well. So the question is, how did you change your surrounding like this? Well, that's because you have caused it to change. You have chosen to be positive. And you're actually the one who have created a happy reality around you. Birds of the similar feather flock together. So the point is that you can in fact change your reality around you, depending on your choice. 29. Do everything a little bit better. Contrary to popular belief, people who are successful in life often do not actually have incredible, earth-shattering, unique skills and or secrets that others don't have. They're just slightly more diligent and alert, always watching with everything they do to find opportunities to maximize their effort in order to do a little bit better than others. They may do just 1% a little bit better than others in one thing, but cumulatively, they eventually end up doing much better in life overall than most of us. 30. 90% of what we think is happening to us is actually our reaction to it. Of all the things we think that are happening to us, only 10% is indeed the things that has happening to us over which we have no control. But 90% is actually our reaction, which we do have control. So if we can modify and improve our subjective reaction, we can in fact overcome, control 90% of what we believe are objective things that are happening to us. 31. Yin and Yang. Life is about balance, yin and yang. Going to one extreme often generates exactly opposite effect of what you desire. If you're extreme in one direction as something, you can actually be counterproductive altogether. 32. Before you speak, first rank your question or answers. People pay the most attention to what you're saying first. So before you ask a question or answer one, first think it through in your own mind and then ask the most important question first. Similarly, when answering a question, figure out your top and most critical answer and state that first. 33. A frog at the bottom of a well. Each of us is a frog at the bottom of a well. That is, our perspective basis for judgment and opinions are limited by our own experience and exposure. We look up to see a small round patch of clear sky and then believe it is a beautiful day. However, when we climb out of the well, go up to the ground level, and we're not able to see, look around at the entire sky, we may then realize it's actually pretty cloudy. We see that small patch of sky that we were able to see early when we were at the bottom of the well was actually not at all representative of the whole situation. 34. The goal of communication. The goal of communication should not be just get a chance to just talk. The goal of the communication is to make sure that our listener do understand what we are talking about. Don't just continue talking and be oblivious to whether or not your listener actually do understand doesn't understand or even cares at all about what you're talking about. 35, the best teacher. The best teacher is not someone who knows the most. But best teacher is someone who knows the most about what his or her students know. 36, people may be wrong, but they still want to be respected and heard. Although people may be wrong, they still want to be respected and heard. So respect them and let them fully express their opinion, and then consider carefully what they say. 37, left and right brains, 1 + 1 more than 2. A right brain dominant person is supposed to be creative and artistic, and one who is considered left brain is rational and logical. However, we should not be limited by these classifications. For example, we often say, oh, I'm a right brain person, I'm creative, but I'm not logical on these things, or vice versa. Instead, engage your right brain, the creative brain, to help you with the logical task, the left brain task, and vice versa, such as applying artistry to a precision eye surgery for me, or some left brain, the logical, to do creative work, such as I apply my logical brain, physics, and mechanical engineering to do artistic things, which is ballroom dancing. So rather than treating the two half of the brain as two isolated halves, our right and the left brain are meant to work together synergistically. So if you do use your brain this way, not only you will be able to expand your range of things you can do, but you can actually create a fascinating situation where 1 + 1 is actually more than 2. You can do both, logical and creative, both better. 38, don't do it, don't write it. If you don't want people to know what you're doing, then simply don't do it. If you don't want people to read what you have written, then just simply don't write it. 39, don't criticize unless you have a better idea. If you don't have a better idea, then shut up. Keep your mouth closed. If you want to criticize something or someone, always be ready to offer what you believe is a better solution. If you don't have a better idea, whatever is on the table is the best. Just go with it. The ultimate drive in life. The ultimate drive in life is to love what you do. If you don't, then change to something else. 41. Maintain fairness independent of human bias and favorism. A system is truly fair if it is independent of the identity of any particular person who is placed in that particular position. 42. The ultimate failure. A human being is if left to his or her own devices, is bound to become corrupt, since we're all selfish in our nature. The best way to develop a solid, incorruptible system is to not rely upon the assumption of fairness or goodness of human being. It could be a fair system, and it should be a fair system, and no one should be above that system. 43. Today is important too. Yesterday is what we have done. It's about what we have done. Tomorrow is about what we will do. But how about today? Should today merely serve as a remembrance of what we've done in the past? Or should today be merely serving for preparation of what we'll do tomorrow? It's not fair. Today has the right to exist on its own right. So in other words, focus on today, stay in the moment and make the best of it right now. Think about it. The person who needs to actually constantly remind ourselves that the reason that we have to remind ourselves, hey, stay in the moment, because we do not stay in the moment. If a day has a day right, today, like human being has human right, today has its day right as well. It's not inferior to yesterday or tomorrow. 44, a true fair business deal. A truly fair business deal is one that you can picture yourself stepping into your partner's shoes and then look at the deal from that perspective. If it's still fair, then it's fair. In all human interactions, always be willing to look at things from others' perspective. 45. Establish validity first before you examine the efficacy. If Johnny always tells lies, you are not going to listen to anything that Johnny says. So before you consider a person, what the person has to say, first spend some time examining his or her validity. Only evaluate what the person actually saying after you have a chance to establish whether he or she is reliable, and if she or her, or his or her opinion, whatever it is indeed worth considering. So always look at the person who speaks before you decide if you need to listen to that person at all. 46. Never assume that you are the smartest person in the world. If people do something in a different way than what you do it, don't just simply dismiss them, believe they are not as smart as you. You will be proven wrong that way. People do things in certain ways. It's for a reason. It's their own reason. It's better for me to be humble and study what they do and why they do it in that particular way. And there is always something to learn from everyone. 47. Start with the big picture. You cannot see the forest from the trees, so always start with the big picture, the forest, before being bogged down with the individual details. 48. Kill many birds with one stone. The best way to improve efficiency is to identify the commonalities among different tasks, various different tasks that you need to do, and try to do just one or very few things that will take care of everything. Try to identify the commonalities. Next pro is improve methodology, 49, of doing something. 99% of us focus on accomplishing a job, but only 1% do more than that. After the job is done, 99% will move on to other things, but 1% lingers on for much longer and reflect, can I do this little thing a little bit better the next time around? Has another person finished this job in a way that was better than mine? What can I learn from the experience so I can improve my way of doing things? The nature of the work that we do will not stay with us, since we will do different things today and tomorrow, but the improvement in our attitude and method of doing things will be long-lasting. Okay, so always think about why people do things. Usually people do things with a reason. Do not easily dismiss them. 50. Now we began 10 new pros today. 50. To be successful is to work selectively. People say that to be successful, one has to be talented and work hard. Yes, while these two factors are indeed two of the top 3 qualities, however, neither is number 1. The most important thing to do if you want to be successful is to work intelligently by selecting only few things to do. Focus on them to the best you can, and then, you accomplish the things you want. The goal here is not to continue adding to-do things on your plate. It's rather to work on subtracting very different things on your plate until there's actually nothing left to be subtracted from. To subtract. 51. Maximum alignment, minimum work. In a business collaboration, maximal alignment of interest in the beginning produces minimal work together. The opposite is also true. A minimal alignment of interest among various different projects the opposite is also true. The minimal alignment of interest among the various different parties early on often ends up necessitating a lot and often unproductive work together. So alignment of interest before you do it together, critically important. 42, clearly define the issue itself. Clearly define the issue itself before you actually, if you identify what the problem is, you're actually halfway there. But most of us don't do that. We jump in to solve a problem, only halfway through to realize we're not even picking the problem correctly. 53, fiduciary responsibilities. The fiduciary responsibility of a leader to its employee is to listen and carefully consider each of their considerations. And the fiduciary responsibility of a member to the boss is to, after you make sure your boss have heard you, duly consider your suggestion, then you just accept your leader's final decision. Because guess what? When things doesn't go well, the shit stop there at the boss. So since the boss is going to take the responsibility, you should give the boss the ability to make the final decision. Doesn't mean you're lazy. You should make sure you suggest something else, maybe different from what he or she does, that may actually be better. So you have a fiduciary responsibility to your boss by following his or her final decision. And your boss has a fiduciary responsibility to you because he or she is committed to at least listen carefully and carefully consider your recommendation. And making sure you have the comfort of knowing you have been heard. 54. More important doing things is learn how to behave while doing it. More important than doing things, what to do with something, etc., as human beings, is learn how to behave when we're doing it. There are many people who focus on what they do. They don't focus on how they do it. And they end up in doing process, you work in that person, you realize that person, has horrible way of doing things. He or she does not follow up, is not honest to do things what he or she has promised. I think you should not bother working with that person because most important thing is how to do things. What we do as human beings changes from 1 to year. How we do things never change. If you're responsible, you're honest, you can trade places, it's going to be the same way, whatever you end up doing. 55. A dumb person eats something bitter. This is very interesting. That one actually is happier when things turned out to be not good, but it was actually one's own initial decision to do it. Since there's now no one else to blame except him or herself. This is just like a dumb person who eats something bitter. He or she that cannot really tell other person. This opposite is true also. One tends to be unhappier if the decision to do it was made by someone else for you. So no one else so no one does have others to blame. Now one does have others to blame. So in life, each person needs to make his or her decision, take the full responsibility to it. As human beings, we actually end up heavier. So basically, it advises you that try to make all important decisions yourself because you end up to be happy as human being. Why? If you make a decision, something, and it did not turn out the way you want, human nature is very interesting. If it's my own initial decision, I'm actually not that happy. I'm only have myself to blame, so I'm okay. Most of us give ourselves lots of slacks all the time, right? I'm no exception. But if someone else make that decision for you to do it, and then the things did not turn out well, you are an unhappy human being because you have someone else to blame. Okay? So you keep on complaining. But if only I have myself to blame, I'm not going to complaining, so I end up to be overall happier. Interesting. 56. A way to make yourself happier, which does work every time. Human beings become unhappy when we unwisely compare what we have with the ideal and often non-existent alternative. So the way to make oneself happier, which does work every time, is to compare your current situation with the existing alternatives. As long as your current situation is better than all other existing alternatives that you can find, you will be happy. 57. Life is about picking the tallest among dwarfs. we sometimes are stuck in inaction because we feel like the method we have is just not good enough. Well, the 100% ideal method actually does not exist. So as long as we are considering what is the best among the existing choices, then just do it. Ideal tall height does not exist at all in human being. Life is about picking the tallest among the depths. It's relative. Life is relative. 58, double security. For important things, always double security. For example, when you send an email to someone about an event and it's very important to you, don't just type in the date. You should type in also the day of the week. Both, since the chance of your making a mistake in typing both dates and date wrong is very slim. That's very, very important. 59, focusing on improving yourself. Some people live by focusing on others. Oh, you should do that, you should know that. Or focus on the errors of others, or even trying to sabotage others like competitor. It is much better and productive way of living, however, if one focuses on yourself, how to improve yourself. 60. While in safety, think about danger. Even when things are going well, don't become complacent. Think about things that could go wrong. And if they do, and how would you deal with them? Very important. When things are going well, it's human nature, we kind of forget what can go wrong. So don't forget about what can go wrong, even if when things are going great. Okay, now we have come to the end of today's Pro. Next one, January 21st, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. I'll be happy to present the 61 onwards, and altogether 77 pros over here. Again, Shi Ban Gong Bei, we're improving 10 times of efficiency by converting the 90% of our logical inefficiency to the 10% that we are rational. And through identification of 77 human behavioral pros, which are all irrational, inefficient, and applying logic, we become more rational and efficient. Again, the next one, Shi Ban Gong Bei, January 21st, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Central Time. If you're interested in the free booklet, just email me your mailing address, and I will send you the book to you as a gift. So we are here, we finished, and if any question, anybody can go ahead and answer those questions, please. Thank you. Any question? Dr. Chen, can you hear me? Nelson, do you find it helpful? We could not hear you again. Last time we couldn't hear you. You want to, yeah, it's not, I could not hear you. No sound, huh? You might want to take a look at Nelson, your computer. Maybe there's some problem. And Nelson, you can type, why don't you type in the chat room, just briefly, what you find helpful so we can read your input. I see my, it's a student, I think, Sophia Fulbright. Hello, Sophia. You email me and appreciate you attending the Zoom. If any question, feel free to ask the question. I'll be happy to do my best to help you, Sophia.
Hi, thank you. I don't know if you can hear me, but I know my questions are kind of, obviously, thank you so much for what you shared. I found that both helpful and very insightful. A lot of the questions I have are kind of related to more of like your career path. So I'll ask them after everyone else can leave their comments on what you just shared.
Okay, sure. That sounds good. Sounds good. Felix, Hannah, and Gao, and Sylvia, if any question. What we do is what I'm going to do is just going to make announcement for next one. Then I'm going to devote for Sophia. I appreciate she has some question for me. May or may not be related to Shi Ban Gong Bei, but I'm happy to consult her career path. And so in the moment, I'm going to focus on Sophia. And for everybody else, you're welcome to stay on or leave, whatever you want. In the chat room, take a look at what I have. Next Vision Zoom, December 23rd, Tuesday. You're welcome to attend, everybody. We're going to talk about LASIK surgery and also the surgery that make LASIK obsolete, called SMILE now. Forever Young lens, that's the one that Forever Young we talk about. So you're welcome to attend the Zoom, everybody. December 23rd, Tuesday. And also, January 21st, Wednesday, is the next Shi Ban Gong Bei Zoom, which we're going to tackle from 61 to 70. Finally, in the chat room, everybody see my side movie link. You're welcome to tune in. In the United States, we're a free link. And outside the United States, in China, for example, we have a link. If anybody know any group of people who are interested in watching the film online and inviting me to give a talk afterwards, please email me. I can do that film plus talk to any group, no charge. So anybody interested, oh, we got a group and we like to watch it together online. We can even watch the film through Zoom. Then Dr. Wang, can you come and talk about the story behind the movie? Right after that, experience of group watching? Sure, I'll be happy to do such film plus talk. Just email me. In the chat room, I have my email address. I'll be happy to. So I will see all of you January 21st, next Shi Ban Gong Bei Zoom, or this coming Tuesday, December 23rd, the side Zoom and the Vision Zoom. But you're welcome to stay. I'm going to devote the last bit of attention to Sophia. And Sophia, go ahead and ask your question to the extent you feel comfortable. And, I presume those general questions probably other can actually benefit a little bit as well. But go ahead and I'll be happy to answer your question. Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. I'll turn on my camera so you can actually see me.
Oh, yes.
Well, first off, I think I just wanted to comment on what you just shared. I think for those of you who are still in here, I'm a medical student, and so I reached out to Dr. Wang because I am interested not only in ophthalmology, but in his inventions and the whole process that is. And so something I really love that you shared is like giving focus to the day we're in. I think as med students, it's super easy to be like ultra focused on the future and residency and what our careers look like. And I think that takes away from us just living in the moment and appreciating the gifts we have of being able to be in school and being able to learn. What I was really interested in, why I reached out to you, is because as a medical student, I think oftentimes I feel the lack of resources we have, where I have ideas or I have dreams and I don't feel like I have the resources to inherently attain those dreams. Specifically, I was wondering how you initiated the process of formulating your invention and how you were able to go about that at such a young age.
Great question. First of all, as a medical student, of course, the priority is study and residency, all that, right? So that is always number one, and the board exam and everything. To answer your question, it's important to maintain that curiosity and to kind of look out the opportunity. The first thing to do, this is what I always do. I have about 8 or 9 patents, and for each of them, when I have an idea, the first thing I do is I will specifically do my best job possible to find someone who has done the closest what I'm about to do. That's the first step. So for example, the amniotic membrane, the contact lens, when I was trying to address the issue how to develop something to help these blind kids and patients, I didn't invent it out of the blue. I basically said, well, what has been done for the corneal scarring? What has been done? And I did lots of research, and I actually identified, in my autobiography book I talk about, I have the idea and the need to develop something to solve that problem for actually many years. So I've been looking for people who have gone the furthest you can, because if I don't identify people who have done the furthest I can, then I'm just wasting my time. I've been repeating what they have already done. In my case, several years, until I came up with this professor who actually have done something very similar. So what I did is I asked the professor, hello, Lana. Hi. And thank you for attending. And Alana, I want to interrupt myself that, you know, what's recently happening with Hanukkah and with the Australian, you know, this just horrible shooting of Jews, and just I think we all need to pay attention. I mean, this anti-Semitic, you know, in Australia, for example, that the tendency, these incidents went unchecked, that result in such a tragic incident, and they should give all of us a warning, you know, that we need to observe these things when they are at the early stage, whatever country, whatever, you know, to recognize that these things, if not pay attention, can blow up, you know. And I think it's a warning sign. I hope the death of 15 people tragically in that beach, that really will bring some good, in a sense, that make all of us realize that at the end of the day, we as human beings, we have to do so much more to respect. And you know, it's the division of polarization that is killing our human being, the self-destructive, but also the unchecked hatred. You know, it could start with a hatred. In Australia case, it initially was a synagogue bomb, and then result in something else. A car got bombed out, and now it's the shooting. It's these things escalating. You have to catch these things in the escalating stage. So my heart goes out to these folks in Australia and you know, all the Jewish people there, and I really hope this incident will make Australian government and the government from around the world to pay more attention to these, you know, even budding anti-Semitic things, that do not control them, do not let them go out of hand. So I just want to mention that briefly, seeing Lana, my dear friend, is on the Zoom. Lana, how are you handling that? How are your friends, your fellow Jewish friends? You're muted, Lana. Lana, you're still muted. Maybe Dr. Chen did not allow us to unmute, but Sophia is able to talk.
Lana, can you let me ask to unmute? I asked to unmute. You just click. Yeah, okay. Now it's good.
I want to say
Lana,
to both of you doctors.
Yeah. Now you can speak.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
good.
But to both of you doctors, we want to express our thanks, our gratitude. And the message among the Jews is that in darkness we must have light. And I think your message with SIGHT and all the organizations you're attached to, and you want us to be attached to, you have removed the darkness and you have created the light. And to all you members that are watching, it isn't about the Jews that Dr. Wang is talking about. It's the world. And I want everyone to know that Dr. Wang does not limit his sensitivities to the Jews, to the Christians. He doesn't have barriers. And I think we all have to become more cognizant of this, because remember, the darkness will bring the light. And that's the message of these two doctors.
Thank you, Lana. Really appreciate your support, and you always have been a strong support believer in what we're trying to do, share what we share as human beings, and learn from each other, and to find a common ground that we all share based on humanity. Really appreciate it. I want to return to Sophia's question. So the first step, Sophia asked a question that she has some budding observation and ideas about medical discovery and how to go about it based on my experience. The first step is do homework, diligently find out who has done the prior art or as close to the prior art as possible. In my medical school at Harvard Med School, I saw this patient who got totally burned with phosphorus. This is talked about in my autobiography. Totally got blinded, and I resolved myself, I want to help. And I found out that the fetal healing, the fetus can heal without scars, so I did not want to hurt the baby. So I got stuck. And actually in the book I talked about that I was actually at the time was dating a girl, and her father is a OBGYN doctor. So I asked him, I said, that how can, you deliver babies, I want to utilize babies, scarless healing to help my patients. And how can I, go the next step? An interesting side note, which is out of my autobiography book, this gentleman, the lady I was dating, the father, really liked me very much. Liked the fact that we are dating. Actually, she is a beautiful Caucasian lady. His daughter, and later on, her father and mother liked me a lot because I keep on asking this question in the entire time we were dating, and I was curious and want to help these patients and fetal healing, but it's interesting. This is not the topic, but related. It's in a book that has a point to it. When her parents found out that we were dating, they put their foot down. They object to it. And they basically believe that they asked their daughter, said that if you date a Chinese guy, are you ready for your Asian kid? So long story short, they killed that relationship. 5 years we fought against it. Eventually they killed that. Anyway, so that's not beside the point, but that's in the book, but about racial discrimination. But the point here is that her father at the time encouraged me, like I'm encouraging you today, Sophia, in the sense of looking for prior art. He kept on telling me, he said, Ming, you find out who has done things along that line, okay? Don't give up. So it was under his encouragement, the young lady's father, who eventually opposed our marriage, but that actually liked me as a student, but did not like me as a potential son-in-law, that actually inspired me, his suggestion, looking for prior art, inspired me to actually search worldwide for expertise in the area. And I eventually find an expert along that direction I was trying to go research thousands of miles away in Miami. So the book talked about, I became a student of that professor in Miami. And basically was able to, we worked together and eventually developed the amniotic membrane contact lens, all that. So to answer your question, Sophia, is to do a really good job. Now you have ChatGPT to literally pose a question to ChatGPT, is that who has done, just, put the question there, and who. When you identify, say, John Smith, wherever it is, you then contact that person. You say, I have an idea, very close to what you have done as I found the reference. And do you think pursuing this direction further than what you have done, John, is worth it or not? And, that what is your experience? Why you stop in that direction, right? So that is the best way. Then once you find that person, in my case, I found that professor in Miami, and eventually we worked together, And I would not have been able to have gone as far as amnion contact lens had it not due to the advice of this young girl's father to me to look for prior art. And had not I listened to his advice as such and eventually found the right person 1,000 miles away in Miami. And that's how I can stand on the shoulder of giant, so to speak. So that's my suggestion, Sophia. Don't rush into it. Don't easily believe nobody has done it. Somebody must have done something. May not be exactly what you're thinking, but in that direction. And try to consult them. Not only you can not avoid wasting your own time, but also literally when you want to go further, you do need a giant shoulder to stand on as such.
No, that's really great advice. I think one of the like roadblocks I've hit is that it's a device that I'm like thinking of. It's like a device that I'm wanting to create. And so it's hard because there's a boundary where I don't know if I should reach out to people because I don't want the idea taken away from me, if that makes sense.
Great question. Great question. There's a way to protect that. And the best way to protect that is go ahead and apply a patent.
Okay.
That among the 8 or 9 patents I have, I actually have 2 concept patents. I did not make the product. Not at all. It was a concept patent. For example, one concept patent I have is instead of doing clinical trials of medicine, new drug testing on human being, right, which can have side effect, right, isn't it? That I envision a world, which is still not there yet, using computer simulating human system, then test the new medication on that computer. So that, for example, if I have a new medication about the eye, then we have all these data imagery, right? Imaging the eye, every bit of eye is completely thoroughly imaged. So my idea is to build a eye model on the computer and then subject the eye model in the computer to the various different medications to see what works or not. So that way, I'm not taking human being to actually trial because if a new medication risky, dangerous, can blind someone. I'm blinding a computer model. No problem, I just kind of reinvent it, right? So it's a computer model-based clinical trial. Now, nobody had the idea, which is very revolutionary. And what I did is I applied patent with another doctor. We applied patent together. No device, just an idea. And we got it. And the patent can be applied very cheaply. You can, you can resort a patent attorney, which will take probably, a few $100s or even a little bit more. But I actually did ourselves. I didn't apply, I just write it up. And it's important to do a very thorough prior art research because you have to convince the patent examiner with significant 3 questions, which are, number 1, is it a significant discovery? If rather than just tiny little movement forward, it's a, conceptually, people think it's make a difference. In my, amnion membrane contact lens, it's a conceptual advancement using placenta and make a contact lens. Second, not only is it new, is it fundamentally different from existing art? Because if someone has a fetal contact lens, maybe too close to what I have, and I'm not going to be granted a patent.
I see.
Third is if it's a big advancement and is substantially different from all prior art, does it improve human life? So if it's totally fancy, doesn't do anything, patent examiner will reject it. So focusing on patent application on these 3 key questions that a patent examiner always asks. Is a substantial advancement human understanding? Number 2, is a substantially different from the closest similarities? And third, does it bring benefit to human lives? So if you address these 3 questions and configure your writing specific with these 3 questions in mind, one of the problems that people do not get patent approved is because they don't know what patent examiner need. They're looking for these 3 questions. And I got that patent, the computer-based clinical trial of new medicine, which is still not available today. So my patent is still unique today, without actually having a product. I still working on it. I still have not made a product yet, because turns out, as you would expect, the eye modeling is very complicated. So now with the AI, I'm repicking up so I'm in the process of actually making a model, physical model, because AI is available in the last few years. So my patent was like 15 years ago. There was no AI then. So I was way ahead of time, right? Using computer to do clinical trial for new medicine rather than on human body. But now AI is available. I can simulate human eye a lot more precisely. Now it's time to pick up the idea using computer modeling to actually do clinical trial rather than actually on human being as such. Because the more closer you can model the human eye, the more truthful the clinical trial result on the computer. The best part is it just removes the risk of new medication. Because you're testing a computer, the worst is just redesign the eye model. You're not going to kill someone. So anyway, I'm using that example to show you do not have to have a device, but you do have to know the 3 critical questions that patent attorney will be asking.
No, that makes sense. And then I guess that kind of leads into my next question, where if I don't have the device, can I submit I have the basically layout and the structure of the device that I think would work, but it's hard to know if it would be feasible unless I was able to actually make it. So do you just submit the idea hoping that the prototype you have would actually work in real life?
Yeah, submit the idea, do a rough drawing. The accuracy of drawing is not important. It is the idea behind it. Okay. So, you can apply a conceptual pattern. For example, LASIK surgery was invented by a professor, 1985 or something. He got a patent for it, but that patent was a crude drawing of the eyeball, very crude. No idea what laser to use. He just had this idea of making a flap of the cornea, correcting nearsightedness. He was granted the patent. So the drawing is so crude is it's not worth anything, but the idea is there. So don't worry, you have to draw some sketches because it help explain the idea, right? But the accuracy, the sophistication of drawing is not the question, it's not the issue. The issues are there are 3. Is a significant difference from prior art? Is a significant advancement of science? Number 3, does it actually improve human lives?
Okay. No, that makes sense. Those are kind of like the main questions I had to just jumpstart the conversation. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I don't know if you would be open for me to email you if I have any questions along the way.
Yeah, you have many questions, you can email me. I would be happy to help you find the right person. For example, you can give me some general idea, I can do some research, but I think it's the best intellectual protection, which is important, IP protection, is do that search yourself. Okay, do that search yourself because it's not that difficult to find the prior art or closest. And then at the same time, go ahead and apply the patent. Draw it up, write it up, apply, just AI can help you write it up, and then submit it because patent take a long time to prove. While you are waiting for the approval, you then approach to people, always mindful of not revealing the IP too quickly. That's very important. Yeah, be happy to help you. No problem. Thank you, Sophia. Thank you, Lana, Hannah, Felix, and Dr. Chang. You have the next last word is next one is January 21st, Wednesday. Dr. Chen, thank you so much. I will see.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Chen. January 21st, Wednesday, 7:30 p.m. Next Shi Ban Gong Bei Zoom. Okay, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Chen.
Thank you, Dr. Wang.
Thank you. 谢谢
Thank
you.
you.
拜拜。
拜拜。
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Lana. Thank you.
Happy holidays and Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
That's right.
Happy holiday.
That's right.
Good night.
You've made a great contribution with Dr. Wang, so we thank you as well.
Thank you, Lana.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
both.
Happy holiday.
Thank you both.